Welcome to Ready, Set, Hunt. Whether you're an aspiring, new, or seasoned hunter, join us as we share our experiences and learn from other hunters around the country. What's going on, everybody? Here's the deal. For this episode, we have no outline. We have no plan. We're just going to talk. We're going to talk about hunting stuff. I hope it's mostly hunting stuff. Maybe some non-hunting stuff gets in there, but we'll try and stay focused mostly on hunting. Here's something that I want to bring up, Chris, because I just saw this today. This is new news. It doesn't impact us because we don't hunt in Pennsylvania, but
yet.
Pennsylvania, they just had a bill pass. Their governor is going to sign the bill that they got rid of the rule that there's no hunting allowed on Sundays. Did you know about this?
There was a rule that people couldn't hunt on Sundays?
Correct.
Have you ever been to dumblaws.com? Do you know about this website?
No, actually, I don't.
There's a website. Well, I got to see if it's still active. I got to see if it's still real. It's got to be real. Dumblaws.com. I bring this up because I didn't know you were going this direction, but I know that there is a law that I believe is still on the books that it is illegal to cross the Minnesota-Wisconsin border with a duck on your head.
Okay. Yeah, there's a lot of weird laws.
I gotta look.
There's a lot of weird laws. But yeah, this was a real one, and it was like very contentious for a long time that you were not allowed to hunt on Sundays in Pennsylvania. And I think there used to be other states where this was a law too, and those laws have since gone by the wayside. But for whatever reason, Pennsylvania held on, and now for the first time in, I don't know, ever, Pennsylvanians are going to be able to hunt on Sundays. That's crazy. It's crazy to me that was even a law in the first place. Can you imagine if that was the rule here? How much would that change, like, everything about hunting, especially like deer hunting in Minnesota?
Okay, dumblaws.com is for sale. So if somebody wants to jump on that, GoDaddy has a special apparently. So I found a Realtree article. This is from February 20th, 2023, but it's some of these laws have strange hunting laws and wild game laws. Should we
Let's dabble.
In Alaska, it's illegal to serve a moose booze.
Okay.
Like,
I don't know who's serving moose booze anyway.
I don't know.
If someone is, I'd like to know how they do it.
In Georgia, it is unlawful to take a deer by any means while it is in a lake, stream, or pond. While I don't think that is dumb, like, it's funny that it's a law.
I guess I think it probably goes along the lines of fair chase. You know, I guess it kind of makes sense to me.
In New Hampshire, archers and crossbow hunters must have their name and town of residence on their arrows or bolts for their crossbow.
Wow.
Interesting.
That is weird. If someone picks it up in the middle of the woods, is it considered littering? If someone other than you picks it up in the middle of the woods?
You can't harass key deer or alligators in Florida. I'm quoting from the article. You wouldn't think that's a problem, but there have indeed been incidents of people harassing deer and alligators in the Sunshine State. In fact, a few years ago, Realtree posted a blog about two men who were arrested after 3 of the endangered key deer were found tied up in the trunk of their car.
Okay.
I have a question. Were they alive? Because did they catch them? And they just tied them up? Like, I guess people occasionally harass alligators for entertainment, and that's cruel. I I think people
But notice how it specifically says key deer. So like the Florida key,
I
the
think
deer in
it
the
is
Florida
Florida Keys,
Keys.
right? Yeah.
Yeah, but you're okay. It's okay to harass deer anywhere else in the Sunshine States.
In Texas, it's legal to hunt and shoot Bigfoot.
Okay,
I guess we're going to
I
Texas.
guess so.
Is that a new thing?
Last episode we talked
Um,
about generalists versus specialists. Maybe you and I should become Bigfoot hunting
well,
specialists.
but here's the thing: you cannot kill Bigfoot in Skamania County, Washington. I don't know how to say that.
Interesting.
I need somebody to jump on our socials right now
I feel
and
like
help me
I feel like the
pronounce that.
people in Skamania, Washington, know something that we don't.
You cannot eat a frog that you kill or just happens to die if it has participated in a frog jumping competition in California.
That sounds like a California law.
Leave it to California for
Yeah,
some
leave it to California.
waste of
That
time. Hey,
that
California, your tax dollars are going to great use.
that actually is a bill that went to the Senate floor.
I can't comment on this. All I can say, according to state law, any person may possess any number of live frogs to use in a frog jumping contest. But if such a frog dies or is killed, it must be destroyed as soon as possible and may not be eaten or otherwise used for any other purpose.
I wonder how PETA feels about this
We could
because
find this article, the real tree, which is reputable. We could find little to no explanation for this law.
imagine
Perhaps it
that.
was seen as unsportsmanlike to eat the athletes after the competition.
Can't
But
make this stuff
people,
up, man.
people, can we just pause for a minute and reflect that someone elected, took the time to discuss this silly thing in a committee? Within the committee voted
And they
as
were like,
far as,
"Yeah,
and they're like,
yeah,
this
that's a
is the
big
one, we
problem."
have to get this on the next bill. They then the House and Senate both took time,
Deliberated.
or they did not. And this is a very important example, everyone, of why we cannot just pass bills to figure out what's in them.
Amen to that.
Right?
Amen to that.
Constituents, please call your local congressman or senator and have a word with them about the efficacy of legislating for relevant items.
Yep. Yep. Well, hey, you know what, Chris? That was relevant to someone
I
because
guess.
I'm sure that issue was brought to the attention of their congressman because someone felt that it was cruel to eat a frog after it had been in a frog race. It's important. It's
In
important
Texas,
stuff.
it's illegal to hunt or kill bats unless they're inside or on top of buildings.
On top of buildings. Okay. Why
I,
do you
I want to
care?
know what the disclaimer on the on top, like, where did that come from?
Yeah, that's interesting.
Uh,
Well, since we're on the topic of bills, we
I'm gonna
should.
let this go. I'm just gonna let it go now. We're not gonna read anymore, but that was a
I
good
was to say
couple.
on the topic of bills, we should mention, and this by the time people listen to this will be pretty much old news. But the big beautiful bill passed. Part of the big beautiful bill, what there was something in the big beautiful bill that ended up getting taken out or language removed, and it would have been mandating the sale of public land, of national forest land, Bureau of Land Management. It was being put forth by Senator Mike Lee from Utah, to sell all this public land, claiming that this was going to be used for affordable housing. I don't buy that for a single second.
I really
Um,
hope he never gets elected again.
yes, that I mean, just his biggest donors. I don't know if you saw this, but some of his biggest donors are companies and people that would directly benefit to public land sale.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's
I
amazing.
mean, it's all special interest lobbying,
Yeah. Anyway,
which is why I probably never get elected because
you just don't want to
Jesus
you don't
already
want
bought
to
me. That's just how it is. Like,
you don't want
I
to
don't
play
care.
the political game.
I
It's
don't
just a
care
big
about
game.
I don't care about money. I don't care about the game. I care about truth and what's right, and I care
Hmm.
about honesty and good conversation, and that goes all the way into conservation and
Yeah.
having, somebody proposing they're going to sell millions of acres.
Nothing about that dude seems honest to me.
No
I
one
don't.
has been lobbying him for years besides the lobby. That's lobby. No person is like, Mr. Lee, you know what I've been thinking? A bill to just sell off public land that
Yeah, that
people
sounds like
enjoy.
something his constituents are saying. Like, hey, you know all this public land that we have across the West? I hate it. We should
It's
sell it.
really causing some issues. We need to develop it. Come
So
on.
anyway, it
There's so much land across this
yeah,
country and across the world that has not been touched. We
just
don't
leave it.
Yeah, just
Just
leave it.
leave it alone.
Just leave it
Just leave
alone.
it alone. It's
Please.
beautiful. It's one of our greatest resources is land.
Hey,
I
here's
just
here's I guess I'm going to take in a moment the side of global warming people, because wouldn't you be by default putting more pavement in this undeveloped land?
yeah,
Doesn't that lead to heating? Which I'm not saying I do or don't believe that. It just kind of seems that some of the theories out there, like the cities have higher temperatures and wildlife doesn't tend to do well in concrete jungles.
yeah. But bravo to all the sportsmen and outdoor recreationalists and conservationists for making your voices heard because there was a lot of uproar about this and people were contacting their congressmen and their senators and their just local representatives like crazy about this thing, so much so that it got taken out of the bill. So awesome job to you guys. um, so I think that does it for our bill talk.
Oh, boo.
What did you have more?
No, I really tried to dive into the duck on top of the head crossing the border thing, which is where we got started from. Again, we talked, I think, last episode not to trust the AI overview, so I'm getting an AI overview right now of this. No, it is not illegal to cross state lines with a duck on your head, despite some folklore suggesting otherwise. While some sources mention this law in the context of Minnesota, it is not an actual statute, according to the Minnesota State Law Library. Wait. While some sources mention this law in the context of Minnesota, the rabbit hole deepens. I need to click on some more stuff. Looney Laws, Minnesota State Law Library. Yes.
Looney laws.
Hey, here's one. If you could make one law from a hunting aspect right now, or change one hunting law, where would you go, or where does your mind lean? And I'm
Oh
not saying
man,
you have to take a hard stance. This is just off the cuff or unscripted,
if I could institute a law or remove a law, is that what you're asking?
or change one, modify it. Like, what's something out there that, because we had the corner crossing situation, which we
Mm,
talked about a lot the last couple of
mm-hmm.
years, just by nature of getting out west and seeing some of these gridded, BLM or state land parcels.
Yeah.
Um, which I like the ruling. I think it is the right ruling.
Mm-hmm.
The only thing I would probably side with the private owners, which is I think this is what the ruling hinges on, is like if I'm putting up my fence into my private corner, the real question is, because I know is should I be straddling my property line to the corner that meets the other four corners? Like, is that lawful? Because like if you have typically that's a place of contention in neighborhoods. Like if you put
Mm-hmm.
your backyard fence on your property line, people don't look kindly on that. So then you see like gaps. If you're out driving around, look at fences once in a while. You might see someone who's done it right, or quote unquote right, and
Mm-hmm.
they've left like a foot gap to their property line so you can walk in between the houses if they both have fences up.
I don't think there's so much. I don't think there's so much debate about the corners themselves. I think there's more debate because previously or although it's been deemed in at least in Wyoming, and there's a lot of evolving around this too. So it's still not super clear about the lawfulness of it. It is legal, but it is legal in the book. but that would not necessarily keep a landowner from still pursuing a lawsuit against you. It would be foolish because it would be then struck down because a verdict has been reached. But it's not like it's written into law. There's not like a law that says corner crossing is legal. It doesn't exist. But there are cases
It was the
that
lawsuit brought against the guys, and the guys won.
correct, but there is not
So,
a statute, at least in what state was this? Wyoming. There's not a statute in Wyoming law that says corner crossing is lawful. It
like,
doesn't exist.
and was the ruling because they didn't touch the fence?
They didn't touch his land. They didn't touch the fence because they had made a special ladder for crossing a corner over this fence. So the only space of his that they, in his mind, trespassed was
Yeah.
uh, the air above his fence, because and he was arguing that he owns the airspace, which
How high does the airspace thing go?
yes, exactly. That's where it gets really weird. And um, so the
Like,
main
can Delta not fly over his property now?
right. So the weird. So I think the main issue with all the corner crossing stuff is the fact that there are private landowners that purchase land with the express intent of blocking a adjacent piece of public land from being used by the public. So essentially, they're buying, say a 40-acre parcel that is right next to or shares a border with, say, a 4,000-acre piece of, BLM, Bureau of Land Management land that is not accessible from any other spot. And so essentially, they have that public land all to themselves. So in essence, because they border it, it is theirs. And you see landowners like this all across the West, where they will buy up the checkerboarded pieces of land surrounding a piece of public, so that that public is now on an island and is not able to be accessed by the public. So they get basically the sole use of it. Um, and so that's really what all this hinged on, or was kind of, this landowner was exploiting public land for his
Mm-hmm.
own personal gain. Um, anyway, that long story short, if there's any one rule I could change, yes, corner crossing is up there because while it is, you know, in Wyoming, it's been cleared up a little bit with this case. There are still other Western states that this does not necessarily apply to, Montana being an example. I would not corner cross in Montana right now, even though I don't think it is illegal. But then you just don't want to get into this whole the whole situation again because it's a different state. So you'd have to go through another legal process for a different state. The only way that wouldn't happen is if the Wyoming case were to go to a Supreme Court ruling, because then that's a federal case, and then that would be basis for a nationwide stance on the issue of corner crossing, which the hunters were acquitted of any charges or criminal charges, but the landowner was still going after them in a civil case, and that civil case could end up in the Supreme Court. So there is the potential that it could become a nationwide thing because it's still ongoing, which is absolutely insane. Um, but no, I think for me, if I were to change any stupid hunting rule, and I might get some haters from Wyoming outfitters for this, is the law that if you are a non-resident, you cannot hunt a wilderness area in Wyoming unless you are accompanied by a Wyoming resident or a Wyoming registered outfitter. To me, that's silly because if you're not hunting and if you're just hiking, if you're just a hiker, you can go into Wyoming wilderness areas all you want. But if you are a non-resident hunter and you hold a hunting license and a firearm or a bow or anything, you're not allowed to go into that wilderness without a Wyoming resident or an outfitter. Tell me how that makes sense.
Yeah, I'd have to do more research. I don't have an opinion.
The reason for it is that they are essentially doing favors for the outfitters. It's a big money maker for the outfitters.
Oh yeah, I can see that.
Yeah, they're making it so
They're
because
lobbying. They're doing some lobbying.
they're lobbying because most of the best places to hunt elk specifically in Wyoming are going to be in those wilderness areas. So you have some special interest groups,
I mean, it's a resource, right? So when a resource is valuable, people get involved, and then you get a lot of. Sometimes
but
you don't get any debate
here's
that's
the problem.
relevant.
I mean I understand it's a resource, but it's a resource and it's on publicly held or federally held publicly held land
Well,
that should not be monetized to
I side
outfitter
with,
groups.
I took my daughter to great grandma and grandpa's grave this last week when we were up north, and I mean she's 5, so she doesn't have like she's not 15 yet, right? Where she's can
Mm-hmm.
conceptualize what I'm actually talking to her about. But I explained like who, like her grandma, these are her parents, and they were really awesome, and just kind of talking about the history. But this is the only time, truth be told, unless I take her again, she's ever gonna go to where they're buried. And I say that because I haven't even been to my great grandparents' graves, and we are all just passing through. Everything I own, everything that I care about is a blade of grass floating in the wind, blowing by. Because
Mm-hmm.
we are all just stewards of the space. We're stewards of the time, and I don't want to get super philosophical or theological or anything like that. But overall, equating it to like resources and America or land, like it's so funny and it's just so apparent to me. Like there is selfishness and selflessness, there is good, there is evil, there is right, there is wrong. And those things can't possibly be explained by just Big Bang. The only thing that explains it is that there's something bigger than us. Like the
Mm-hmm.
order of things, like our cells, like math, all this stuff is intelligent by nature. It just can't come in. Like I heard a conversation once because they were talking about nature. If we crawled out of the primordial soup, right? A set one cell organism, and then it became two. Well, there's no such thing as a two-celled organism. There's one celled, and then there's like us. It's like, you know, sophistication. But if you had like, let's say, a fish that came out of water, somehow the water got there, somehow the fish got there, somehow the food for the fish got there, all at the same moment. Like stuff eats that fish, or there's so much in the ecosystem. Like it can't possibly come to fruition, an ecosystem at different millennia because it is so intertwined. And that's where, like, coming back to us as humans, which is what I'm landing the plane on, the regulations and the lobbying and all that. It's funny because selfishness says, like, landowner, this is mine, and I
Mm-hmm.
want access to that corner, and I'm going to buy that 40 acres that you were talking about to cut off any public access because I don't want people going in there, and I've worked hard for this, and this should be like mine. I get that because I'm a human. I've experienced selfishness too. But then you also have the selfishness of the flip side, which is like, I want access to that. I don't own this. And I want to experience that. And it is a resource and it should be shared. But at the same time, they want it to be shared so they can have it. So it's like selfishness again.
Yeah.
Um, it's just wild how the world works. It's wild us as humans, like that we even talk about hunting, like what it means to us. And, but like, my daughter's looking at these graves and I broke down. I shed tears because I haven't been to see my grandma, where she's buried. It brings back emotions, all the memories. And I'm like, I'm weeping. And my daughter's weeping because she doesn't understand why I'm weeping.
She's crying.
And
She's sympathy crying.
she's just sympathy. She knows like daddy's sad. But I'm just like, well, things mean, man, life is so rich and it's going so fast right now. That's why like hunting in this space is so special because it makes you slow down. It
Mm-hmm.
exhilarates you in the moment when you're successful, you're you're seeking that animal, but I'm going to be gone someday. And everything I have, all the gear that I love or the memories we have, like it's going to be gone and no one else is going to, like my daughter's memories aren't mine. She has duck hunting memories. She loves going duck hunting with dad, but she's going to take her own away from it. And
Hmm.
it's, I don't know what to do with that. It's stewardship, it's honor, it's character. Um, in a hurting world where there's so much rottenness and terrible hurt and wicked choices, I wish I could help people sit on the side of a mountain more to somehow sense some of these things that I'm speaking of in a real tangible physical sense, but also a spiritual and mental sense. Because I think while the Native, like, because I'm a Christian, like while the Native Americans relatively didn't, or any populations around the world didn't have knowledge of Christ before Christ, and God, as the story goes, followed the nation of Israel. The more that I look into that, that just makes more sense, and it's why like nature make is more beautiful to me. It's why like life and my kids breathing next to me and like the tears crying, like it's so vibrant. That is
Hmm.
so crazy that like I even have consciousness, and people are fighting over border crossings on like a fence. And I get it.
Yeah.
I understand both sides, and I would probably further talking about this with you would I err like if you can create an invention that gets you across and doesn't touch my fence, I don't want you going over my fence. Like I side with the landowner that way. Like don't be messing around my fence. I got cattle out here, whatever his reasons are, even if they're fully selfish and he's just like he wants to hunt the big elk back there. But if your ingenuity has gotten you to the place where you carried some lightweight contraption that you've constructed with your buddy to cross over and get onto the designated state area that we should all be stewarding, I think that's amazing at the same time. So,
Yep.
like, then there's people sitting in the highest court of the land going, which side should we rule with on a legal principle and precedent? Um, it's just so fascinating to me. It's
It is.
people get wrapped up in so much stuff, and we've just lost with technology, AI, social media channels. Like, we're doing a podcast right now, and the essence of like I never thought I'd be doing this. I always thought it'd be fun to talk, but we're not even really talking about a topic. We're actually talking about the stuff I love to talk about now. These thoughts.
Yep.
Like so do you what do you think about what I just kind of laid out there for you relative to conservation or hunting and kind of these the grids out west? Um and it I'm not leading us anywhere. I'm just curious. Like
I think they're important topics. Like it's important to talk about this stuff, and it's important that people are aware of this because as an American citizen, whether that land is surrounded by private land or not, that land still belongs to you, and there's millions and millions of
according to our
acres,
laws.
according to our laws. Yes,
Mm-hmm.
there are millions and millions of acres that you as an American own that you cannot access because it is completely landlocked by private land.
Mm-hmm.
Now, it is our systems that made it that way. Um, so it's a tough conversation. It's a tough topic because we want to have access to that, but also that would mean us infringing on private property owners' rights as property holders. But then to your point, Chris, like you were saying, we're moving through life and someday that land is not going to belong to that person anymore. Someday that land is going to belong to someone else. And um, if you've been in the hunting or conservation space long enough, you've probably heard this quote by Doug Duran, which is it's not ours, it's just our turn, which I think
Mm-hmm.
is profound and great, simple but profound. And it's easy to get caught up in all these controversies in this space, whether that be legal or inside conservation, all these different things. But at the end of the day, I think we get so caught up in what's happening here and now that it can, in a way, taint the thing that we're actually all after when it comes to conservation and hunting. And it's peace. It's that experience on a mountainside. It's that experience of removing yourself from everyday life and drowning out all the sound. I mean, we live in a hyper educated society. And when I say educated, I mean we are constantly getting information, like whether it's online news, online sources, or news channels, social media. We're constantly taking in all this information, which honestly, I don't feel like the human brain was designed to do.
Mhm.
I believe that we as humans are we're supposed to constantly be taking in our surroundings, our natural surroundings, and interacting with each other as a community and as a species, I guess. But I just think there's so much noise in our lives these days that a lot of times these conflicts are built from nothing, and they're truly in some things are just truly meaningless because 50 years from now, when I'm an old man, will I care about some of these things? Yeah, maybe I might care about them, but they're not going to truly, at the end of the day, not truly going to matter in my grand scheme of life. I'm not going to be on
Mhm.
my deathbed saying, oh man, I wish I just would have had access to more public land. Like, it's like, that's not going to even be on my mind. I'm going to
Mhm.
be hopefully surrounded by people I love, you know, reminiscing on times past, but ultimately looking forward to my eternity elsewhere. you know if you believe in Jesus like we do, this is just a blip on the radar this time, and
The most important blip, because it's strange. We've been given a season.
very short
Like you've been
season
given 100 years. Give like if you
if you're lucky.
77, more like
Right.
77. So like I'm halfway already. Like I'm astonished because I'm astonished that more people haven't stopped ponder some of these things. But like Jesus says, like when he asks Peter, "Who am I?" and he says, "You're the Christ. You're the Son of God." And Jesus responds, "No one has told you this. No one has revealed this to you except my Father in heaven." And that's what's crazy about God, because his heart is in the role of, like, as we can conceptualize a father. A good father wants good things for his kids.
Hmm.
Like we bore children, or our wives did, our children.
Yeah, we can't
And
take credit for that.
no, well, I'm speaking like there are offspring. And when you are healthy mentally, physical, spiritual, you want good things. And we all know what good means. It means benefits, right? We want them to succeed, we want them to thrive, we want them to be healthy, we want them to be safe, we want them to be courageous. We want to see them full of joy. Like that is how I view my existence, but I'm still like bound by thoughts of like depressing thoughts, depressing
Hmm.
world, struggles. This is really hard. I don't like that. I feel like physical health. Like we're in this battle, this war, and this space of hunting is so much more than just the surface level marketing of a jacket or a rifle that's cool, or the ballistics that we talk about, or the big trophy. Elementally, it is somewhere else, because it is a physical, mental, and spiritual space. And there are few physical, mental, spiritual spaces on earth that keep you in nature or surrounded by nature. And
Hmm.
that is like, I'm in awe, and I wish more people, I just existence is free will. Like that, at the end of the day, bad things happen. People always ask this question, well, if God's so good, why do bad things happen? Because it's a byproduct of you not being a robot.
Hmm.
God, like if you and I create the perfect hunting guy or gal or whatever, and we're like, you're our son, we love you and you love us. Yeah, not real love, because we've programmed the computer or the AI or whatever you want to do in this day and age to quote unquote love, which is a relevant term, or I don't even know. Like you can't make a robot love you. You can make
Hmm.
it do actions, but love is a choice. So if God, as the story goes, created Adam and Eve in wilderness, in nature, and everything was in balance, they were made, quote unquote, and I'm doing air quotes for those of you that are just listening, just to love God and just to like have no other thoughts or have no free will. They're supposed to think a certain way. That's not true. That's not true love.
Hmm.
True love is knowing what is good and not choosing it, or knowing you can go a different way but still choosing it is what I mean.
Sure.
So
Yeah.
like I could not be your friend. I could talk down to you. I could treat you poorly. Like wake up call everyone. We all have that power. You can commit any terrible deed. Everybody can commit every terrible deed. We're all capable of it. Every single one, wrong situation, wrong scenario, wrong season of life, all of it's viable. And to tell yourself that you could never do that, you're kidding yourself. You're totally kidding yourself, because pride and vengeance and anger and all these things like disgust, hatred, these things are raw, real emotions that we all can conceptualize and tangibilize within ourselves. And just in the greater concept of like nature, like all I can see when I'm out there is God.
Hmm.
We're on our mission, we're hunting bear or whatever, but I think about my kids, I think about my wife, I think about being a better person in the workplace. I think about friendships. I think about my struggles. Like I don't know. UFC fighting, being a fighter doesn't it's not in nature. Throwing down in the biggest business deal of your life is typically you're not sitting on the side of a mountain
Right.
in
Yep.
nature. So like hunting is just so unique, and it bonds people like nothing else. Nothing else I've experienced.
It's true. When you were talking about your daughter at their graveside and everything, and you were talking about how someday none of this is gonna matter. All the gear that we bought. I just had this, I just had this thought about gear. I was like, there's a good chance that someday the majority of my gear is gonna end up at a Goodwill somewhere,
Totally.
and no one's gonna know. No one's gonna know. Wow, Peter spent thousands of dollars on this stuff.
Not one person.
Wow,
If
look at
you
this
if your
jacket.
kids truly are like, I'm not really into hunting, or like, yeah, I'll take my dad's shotgun, but I don't. And one pair of camo. I just don't do it a lot. That is exactly what is going to happen, because we go through Goodwill and find stuff. You go to the pawn shop, you like people trade in their firearms. You have no idea the story behind it or the
Yep.
meaning, or the maybe the dad bought the gun, like the rifle, for his kid and the kid passed away. Like you have no context for the things that are passed between generations, and it's
Isn't it weird, like thinking it's a crazy concept to think about objects that we have in our life, right?
mhm.
These
Idols,
things,
idols.
well, idols, but the point I'm making here is that truly every little thing that we own has a story connected to it. Like it's kind of crazy. So, like
Mhm.
for example, I've talked about like one of my favorite shotguns I own. It was my grandpa's shotgun. That's about the extent I know about it. That it was my grandpa's shotgun. I don't know about all the hunts that he took it on. I don't know where he bought it. I don't know who he bought it from. There's all these things. I think how many hunts has this gun actually been on that I have no idea about.
Mhm.
Before I had this gun, it had a whole lifetime of hunts. Like it's just crazy to think about how even just little how just objects can have like a whole lifetime of stories behind them, you know?
I'm 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 on the struggle bus right now in fatherhood for unplugging and being present, which is strange because it's such a huge value to me.
Mm-hmm.
Like I just listened to a podcast and they were talking about some research that was being done, and parents will actually, when they're stressed out with their kids, check out and go on their phones now,
Mm.
which we totally, you and I would go, oh yeah, I've seen that. Like that's totally normal. And like you put the kids to bed, like there are nights where I'll put my boys to bed and I usually have to sit in there, or sorry, I enjoy sitting in there because then they cry a whole lot less and I get to sing to them, and I'm just hey, it's time to lay down. You're okay. Lay down. That being that presence for my boys, but I'm also 75% of the time have my phone open.
Right.
And it's like I'm missing that. And I just got back on this trip and I took my eldest daughter with us, and I took her with so she could be separated from the boys for a bit and have a special time where she got to feel like she was the only child again, because she is the oldest and there's a gap. But on the plane, I'm like going through old, the on your phone where you can go into your pictures and you
You'll do like
have
old albums and stuff, kind
it's
of.
like your album of your daughter or your son or
Hmm.
whatever. And I'm like, holy cow, wow, does she grow so fast? Oh, there's that smile. I haven't seen that smile in forever. Or the way there's just like epic amounts of pictures, right? And in our
Hmm.
day and age. And it's captured in a phone.
Hmm.
It's not like the the margin and ability we have now to be present without our phone and take in the moment and the gravitas of moments with people, we never get them back. I say this a lot, but Peter, to be honest, this could be our last podcast. You could be driving tomorrow, or I could be driving tomorrow, and a tire blows on a truck, or somebody runs a red, and that's it.
Hmm.
So to value people and the breath that's in your lungs every moment is it's just like it's massive, it's overwhelming, and it breaks my heart that people miss it so much, because I'm missing, like I'm on the struggle bus, like I said, for missing moments. Like I'm like, hey, like I'm really tired, just lay down, I'll rub your back for 2 minutes and I gotta go do my finish up the day. That sucks.
Yeah.
That's stupid.
Do you ever do you ever feel that way? Because I want to try and tie this back to hunting, because I mean, as good as it is for our listeners to hear us talk about
That is why I'm talking about. I'm
personal
talking about
personal
like
things.
walking through a field that like no one in the world gets to walk through because you've
Hmm.
hiked out in the middle of the nowhere.
Yeah. I was gonna say, do you feel that almost like conflict inside, or that strain when it comes to being gone on hunting trips, where obviously you're leaving your family behind and that kind of thing?
Mm-hmm.
Like, do you
100%.
ever fear that you're going to be missing something? Because like this
Oh.
past fall when we went elk hunting, um, my youngest son was not crawling yet,
Mm-hmm.
and when I got back, he was crawling, which means I missed that. Which, I mean, I've got two older boys, and I've been there for their crawling and everything, and it's just crawling, kind of
It's the
whatever.
moving butt back and forth with the legs, and then
Yeah,
eventually they
yeah. It's
start
like
to
you.
put it together.
I missed that, and we are lucky in the fact that we do have phones and pictures and videos. So we,
Mm-hmm.
even if you're gone, if you have a wife that likes to take pictures as much as mine does, you're not gonna miss out on that moment from never being able to see it. But there's something different about being there for it. And I would
Yeah.
say that with the type of hunting that we have started doing, that might be the biggest drawback. Is it does take time from the family. All types of hunting does, unless you're bringing literally your entire family hunting with you, which just isn't realistic. But do you feel that conflict and that strain within yourself, like when you pull down the driveway and you're like, I'll be back in a week, you know?
The short answer is no, but I'm aware of it, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Primarily because I take the posture like I need, in order for my family to be healthy, like I need to take some time to make sure my heart is being cared for. And it's not like, and man, counseling is great. People should go to counseling. You should go to marriage counseling. Like counseling is talking out different perspectives on your team and then having an understanding of like, oh, I didn't realize that's what you were seeing from the other side of the ice. I'm just mad because you're not hitting the slap shot. And it's like, well, the pass is coming late every time. And it's like, oh, that perspective's so healthy. But that's what God does. Like, it's really counseling sessions for my soul. And it's not necessarily all the time like having conversations with Him, but there is such awareness of family, an awareness of daughter, of son, of like the cost that this is taking on my family because I'm gone. Um,
That ministers to you in a way.
it shifts what's important and priority.
Hmm.
It like, oh man, that's stupid. I cannot be doing that anymore. Or you know what I mean? It's
Well, it's
once
also a
you,
case of absence makes the heart grow fonder. Like
oh yeah, it's so good for you.
it's good for you. It's good for them too.
Get
Uh,
away from your spouse for a little bit in the for the best reason, which is being together all the time is not a good recipe for health. It is not good. You need to have some independence. You need to have some processing time.
and they do too.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. It is fun though, as a parent, um, having your kids getting to an age where you can start taking them on some hunts. In a way, I feel like I'm super excited for those experiences because you almost get to relive those first time experiences through your kid.
Mm-hmm.
First time in a duck blind, first time in a tree stand, all those amazing experiences that got you hooked in the first place. You get to now view it through their eyes. But there is like, in a way, there is also kind of like a selfish mourning of it too, because it's never going to be the same. Like hunting is never going to be the same now because as they get older, they're going to want to come more and more and more because they're going to be more and more capable. If they like hunting, they're going to have that drive as well. And so this can no longer just be your thing. This is going to have to be your thing for your kids too. So you're going to have to, like, I feel like I know that I'm going to have to take a step back in terms of hunting. I might be on the same amount of hunts, but the focus might not be on me filling a tag anymore. The focus might shift to my kids filling a tag, or less time of me pursuing those ambitions and helping them along in their journey so they can fulfill their goals and reach those heights. um, have you thought about that at all? Because it's like, especially as my oldest boy is just getting older each year, and he's been on several different types of hunts with me now. I'm just becoming more and more aware of it.
Yeah, my daughter asks me a lot of hunting questions. Daddy, is this where you hunt? Like she has an awareness of a common passion. Like she asked me to come downstairs. Can we play duck hunting again? And she built out her little. She has a little like tent dollhouse. It's like a tent.
Mm-hmm.
She put up a wall draped over blankets to make a duck blind. She had the toy shotgun and she made an area where there's water and she wanted my boys to be dogs. So they would have to go fetch. It was
very,
awesome.
very resourceful.
Super awesome. Of
If
course
they become good swimmers, they can become dogs for real
they
if you
were
want.
clearly untrained retrievers. Clearly. Like it was wild. Um
I expect more from your kids, Chris.
But she asks me all the time hunting questions, and I can tell my youngest boy from a basketball and hunting perspective, he already shares those both passions.
Mm-hmm.
He oohs and ahs, and we saw some deer in a field the other day, and he's like, oh, and that's what he does when we watch like deer hunts on the TV. So yeah, I don't want to be away from my family, but it's needed for a handful of days
Mm-hmm.
to reset and make sure that I'm not missing the things that are truly important, which is not getting overtired,
Yep.
getting too stressed out by life, some of those things. So, and the wives need that too. They need to be sent. They need to be sent away on trips. And hey, you need to call. You really need to call your girlfriends, and you just need to go have some fun. Well, I
Mm-hmm.
can't. They don't. You know. No, you just got to do it. So as they get older, it will be fun. It'll be fun putting a shotgun in their hands and
Mm-hmm.
seeing them shoot their first duck. When Nellie rode her bike for the first time 2 weeks ago, I was vacuuming, and I might have already told the story. I don't know, but I had just taken the training wheels off, and I kind of like let her go out in the yard, and I went back to cleaning the cars because they were like, if you have kids, they get dirty. And I see her out of the corner of my eye trying to ride in the grass without her training wheels, and she's getting frustrated. And it was just this, stop, Chris. This is the dad moment where you teach your kid to ride the bike. And I turned off the vacuum and I walked over there, and she was, Dad, I'll never do it. I can't do it. And I just said, hey, we don't talk like that. We say we're gonna do it, and let's do it right now. You're like, come on, let's do this. She's like, okay. And she like kind of fed off that confidence. And we walked straight over to the pavement, put her on the bike. I said, I'm gonna hold you. You feel the balance kind of in your arms, in your butt, sitting on the seat, and like feel the bike and pedal, and it'll come to you. She goes, okay, Daddy. Peter, was like 7 seconds. And I let go and she was riding.
Yep.
7 seconds. That was the moment. Like that was the moment of dadness so far in my life. And
Yep.
she's shrieking in joy. Oh, like in astonishment. She does a big circle, comes right back to me and like kind of crashes into me. And she's weeping, like she's happy tear crying at 5 years old. I did it. I did it. Like someday that's gonna be more hunting, and that's gonna be hopefully life conversations and fears and hopes and dreams. And I don't want to say it, but the boy that she wants to date, or
Yep.
the guy that's going to ask for her hand.
He better come to hunt camp first.
My heart's just getting bigger. I'm going to be 40, and my heart is so big for the world. Not from like I have the perspective of the world all figured out, or that I have all the answers, or I'm right, or anything like that. It's such a heavy weight of awareness that something bigger than us is going on, and it's found in relationships, it's found in love.
Well, I think just as you get older, and obviously, I'm in my early 30s, you are nearly 40, but I feel like even in my own life, I'm starting to realize that there are a lot of things that just are unimportant. Like the things that we focus on and we get stressed over, it's like they seem like something really big in the moment, but really in the grand scheme of things, they're not important. And you
I
start
don't want to
to
be one of those crotchety angry old people.
right.
Like I actually have a heart. I'm so curious how people get to where they get.
hmm
But yeah, like
Too many bad deer seasons.
it's not even that, man. It's like don't be mad. I can be mad at traffic, or somebody gets the drink order wrong, but I just want to be chill
Yep.
because I'm alive and I can hug people and I can laugh. And
With kids getting older, it does make me think a lot about wanting to resurrect the deer camp atmosphere. You know, um, granted, you kind of have to have land for something like that, and so I mean that's of value. But I just um, feel like the deer camp culture is kind of disappearing. And not even just like in our circle, but like just kind of everywhere. Like deer camps are kind of becoming a thing of the past a little bit, it seems, and
well, that's
that's
that's our perspective. We don't know what Wisconsin's doing, or Iowa.
well, I
Like
mean, sure, but I think
I
I
know
think
what you mean.
that's
It's
a
like farms are going away. Like
yeah.
farms were a huge conduit in the past century for deer
Well,
camp.
even with the whole, the hunting population is shrinking. There's less hunters every year. People are aging out. There's not as many young people moving into the hunting space, which is kind of one of the passion points for this podcast at all, is that if we want hunting to stay a thing, new people have to come into the space. And I mean, I think if you were to look at like hunting marketing and the industry, it wouldn't seem like it's shrinking, but in all reality, like the actual hunting population is getting smaller and smaller each year. And I basically am saying not on my watch, because like I want my kids to like hunting. If they don't, then they don't. They don't have to have the same passion for it as I do.
You know, it's interesting. Like I just chat GPT'd this, but hunting peaked around, looks like just under 17 million people in 1982.
Mhm.
It's been falling ever since, and by 2016, that was down to about 11.5 million hunters. But it also says here that hunters still make up a small percentage of the U.S. population, about 4.8% in 2022, compared to around 7 to 8% in the 1960s through the 80s. But our population has grown quite a bit since then, has it not?
Our population has grown, but our percentage of the population has shrunk. So we're not keeping pace with the growth of the country as hunters.
It's
Which, I mean, there's going to be the country is going to have a carrying capacity of hunters. So maybe that's being reflected in the
Yep,
numbers, just in terms of there's only so much land, there's only so many animals.
yep.
Hunting is not something that everyone can do. It's just we don't. It's not a big, like, the wildlife of this country is not a big enough resource that every single American can participate.
Yeah, it's not the frontier.
Correct. So there is a carrying capacity, but if we don't do our part in terms of recruitment of our children and of, maybe friends who are interested, who then in part may get their kids involved, like hunting could go away.
Yeah, it gets silly bills to sell public land.
Yeah. And look at like all over the world, other places. Hunting is so different there. We have such a unique system here in the United States of the North American model of conservation. Like, we have such a unique system here, and it's the best conservation system in the world, hands down.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, easy.
And if we don't protect that and we don't pass that on, it's gonna be taken away, whether that be by private interest or whoever. So there's my tangent, but like that's why I'm so passionate about reaching the audience that we're trying to reach with this podcast. That's why I'm passionate about reaching the new hunter, or the person who's like, hunting's kind of interesting. I think I'd be interested in trying that. I just don't know where to start. Like, we need you guys. We really do.
I got a big calendar up here sitting on my wall. I ordered on that I can dry erase. It's like the whole
Mhm.
wall, and I'm just astonished because half of 25 is already gone.
I know.
Life is going so fast. Now the second half of 25 has a lot of trips lined out, and it's all hunting
Jam
related. So,
jam packed.
do
Hunting or,
you
or fishing in your case.
do you know that we no longer have Jan's Place? It's a new owner, as
What,
well as the Garfield Cafe.
really?
Yeah,
I did not know that.
but we have a good old faithful Carlos. We'll never lose that.
That's good.
Good pizza.
What's the owner of the new name of Jan's place? It can't be Jan anymore. Like Steve's place.
No, it's like R and J's place or something.
Oh, really?
Or I don't know.
Wonder when
We're
that
talking about
happened.
cafes, about where we go when we go hunting
Where we
in
go
our
get
neck of the
breakfast.
woods. Yeah.
That is a big change. Wow.
I always like giving her a hard time.
It's good. It was good for Jan. All these little hole in the wall cafes in small town Minnesota. It's just
Dude, we gotta
funny.
fish. We gotta go fishing. What the heck, man? We haven't
I
I haven't even gone golfing this year.
haven't been golfing in a couple of years. I don't golf.
Who am I turning into?
I don't know. I would rather. There's a lot of things I'd rather do than golf, and I live like
Fish?
practically on a golf course.
You'd rather fish.
I would rather fish than golf.
So let's
Yes.
fish.
Yeah.
Let's do some pan fishing.
I love. Yeah, we gotta have a fish fry.
We gotta do it.
Get some. Oh, what's it called? Shore lunch. Get some shore lunch breading. Have a fish fry with all the friends. That'd be fun.
I need to do some deep sea fishing too. I got so many people I know that do that. I should make a call. I just love sushi. I want some sushi, man.
Mm-hmm.
Let's look. Can we look at our calendars right now? And
You wanna plot out our calendars
yeah, and then
on the
we're gonna
podcast?
invite the community to come pan fishing with us. It's a big community. What, 9 people?
I don't know how many people are listening for sure. Um, boy, there's not many weekends left left in the summer.
Man, it goes fast.
There's legitimately 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 weekends left in summer. That is crazy. It's going by so fast.
State fair's coming. It's coming quick.
I'm so excited. I love the state fair. I love it.
I
Um,
can't believe the year is half done. I mean, it goes so fast now. Getting into this time,
hmm
once we hit August, it's off to the races.
Oh man, in August I am going to be in major hunt prep because I mean, let's just go through our hunting calendar, shall we? First weekend of September is going to be early teal and dove. Then we've got a short little reprieve. Then about a week later, archery season in Minnesota opens.
It's like
Then
the
we have
17th.
19th, 19th this year. Opens. It always opens on a Friday. Um, then the next weekend is the official Minnesota duck opener.
27.
26th. Then just 2 days later, yes, sorry, 27th. Then just 2 days later, we leave to go on our mule deer trip out west.
Yep.
Then we get back, and then we're in the throes of October, which you are going
I
to
have
be
a
on
I have a South Dakota hunt there somewhere.
South Dakota hunt somewhere in there.
Then there's deer opener.
Deer
Then
opener
there's
is a few weeks later.
then there's my second fishing trip.
And then there's late season pheasant. I've got a bunch of grouse hunts kind of sprinkled in there throughout the fall.
I mean,
Then we're
we could
then
do
we're
a
getting to
fantasy
Thanksgiving.
football podcast. We could jive into that, guys. My dynasty team is primed
I
to
don't want to talk
dominate
about it.
this year. I'm gonna get there, and again, I'll probably not win the championship. I don't understand.
You do have bad luck, it seems. Yeah, we're in a dynasty fantasy football league together. How many years is it now? How many? It's been 6 years already
Yeah.
in this league.
Mhm.
That's crazy. That's such a long time.
I dropped out of. I think I got up to 7 leagues.
Oof, that's too much to
Not
manage.
in football. It was baseball, basketball, and I was like, what am I doing? I
That's
killed
way
I killed them all. I was like, nope, not coming back. Sorry.
is way too much to manage. I'm in two
I
dynasty
also
leagues and I already feel like two is way too many.
I also realized I don't care like the value that I get from interpreting somebody else's value on a football field just was strange.
Yeah,
When majority of the time it's not a role model, if that makes sense. It's really
yeah.
disappointing to learn about people who do great things and then
This is complete.
the
This is
character
completely random, but it's kind of in line with what we're talking about. We should do a March Madness bracket, but with like all the biggest hunters, um,
who's going to take out the biggest trophy.
or just who's like head to head, who's the better hunter. Make a bracket.
Maybe we should do some live calls. Should we take some calls right now? Let's see if anybody's called in.
No,
We have
it's
no one on
no
hold.
no one on the lines. It's also 11 p.m. So most people are probably sleeping, and I'm in a hotel right now, and I hope I'm not talking too loud because I haven't got any knocks at the door or any phone calls, so we should be okay.
The front desk isn't calling you.
No, they're like, hey, we know you're talking about hunting. Sounds really cool, but you
Can
got
we
to quiet down.
subscribe?
uh,
I'm
all
sorry,
right,
everyone. This is a really random
episode.
conversation. Maybe you got something out of it. Maybe you didn't. But
Hopefully, this will, if nothing else, this will help you get to know us a little better just as people.
and you'll
Um,
appreciate that Peter puts together topics that we actually somewhat stay on versus having no topic and we are all over the place.
yes. Hopefully, yeah, you get to know us a little better so it doesn't feel like we're always just constantly talking at you and semi teaching in a way. But, we're just like regular dudes and we have real thoughts and real feelings about things outside of hunting, not just hunting. you
It's
know,
true.
for our purposes here, we try and tie things back to hunting since it is a hunting podcast, but we are people outside of the hunting space as well. Um, so hopefully you got something out of this. We'd love to hear from you on literally any of the topics we covered, or even topics that we haven't covered here today. Um, Chris, you want to sign us off?
I was watching this guy on YouTube take his kayak into these back channels, and he
Okay.
was using this frog, like this frog one, and the two hooks on each side, like
Mm-hmm.
went up. Let's go fishing
You
because
want to
he
do like a
was he was getting the smallmouth to really bite that thing, and I'm like, I need to go find a frog, but you can't use the real frog that was in frog jumping competitions
That's right. You can't.
because that's like eating the competition.
But no. It should. It is it okay if a fish eats the competition?
I don't
It
think
didn't
that.
say. It didn't say anything about fish consumption of competition of the frog. It was human consumption.
What's your favorite bait when you're fishing, and what's your least favorite bait and why?
Ooh, well, it's going to depend on what I'm fishing. I would
It's
say
I'm not
in
saying what you're fishing. I'm not saying how successful you are. I'm just saying totally random. Like, what would you say? Like, I like this, and then I hate this for this reason.
oh man, I do think a top water frog is really fun. Just because it's just fun because when you do get a strike, a bass strikes, there's almost nothing more exciting than that. Um, I have a love hate relationship with like really big spinners because while I love spinners because you can get some good northern action and stuff, and it just feels good to have a little extra weight on the end of your line. I also hate them if you go through a weed bed because that means you're taking the whole weed bed with you.
I hate spinners. I hate them so bad. Um,
And-
I I love a can of corn because I love taking like a small. I wouldn't say handful, but I take you grab some corn and I just kind of chuck it
Mhm.
off the side of the boat and you kind of season the
Oh,
water. It's like
you're chum in the water.
it's kind of chumming it up, and then you just drop your line in. And dude, we've had some of the best panfish experiences up at your cabin. Especially there was that spot that we hit that one year, and I
Yep.
don't know if we've ever found it again because we relatively know it's like it's right there. It's just like
It's
that's all
out
we can.
there somewhere.
It's right. It's somewhere in right there. So we drive around with like the depth finder on, but we can't really find it. But man, we were pulling up the biggest panfish
Some of the biggest
that
sunnies I've
I've
ever
ever
seen.
I've ever seen. Yeah,
Yeah.
it was like a nuclear plant went bad down there, and they were like Godzillaing themselves.
I got to say, so I've always been just earthworm, nightcrawler kind of guy. That's just
Mm-hmm.
what I grew up fishing with on that
Mm-hmm.
lake. You turned me on to leeches.
Leeches are
And
where it's happening,
while
man.
I don't super
Freaking hate those
enjoy
things.
getting the leeches out of the styrofoam little bowl thing
Yeah.
or whatever, in terms of fishing, they're fantastic.
Well, they're more resilient to fish strikes than the worms falling
They
apart.
are. They are more resilient and more natural in that water space, which
Yeah,
would
the way they
make more
move and
sense.
stuff.
Well, and also they're just in lakes, whereas earthworms are not.
True.
But
Yeah, I wonder who dug up earthworms for the first time and threw them in the water.
yeah, I
Somebody
don't
had to
know.
do it.
Did you know that earthworms are not even native to North America?
Oh, I don't know if I believe that.
It's true. They brought
You
them over
can't
from
just
Europe.
say it's true and give me no empirical evidence.
They
It's
brought them
true.
over.
It's
They
true.
brought them over from Europe.
Who's
They
they?
entered
You're using some really broad strokes right now.
the Pilgrims.
I'm Dear ChatGPT. Are earthworms native to North America? Here we go. No, most earthworms found in North America today are not native. They are primarily non native species introduced from Europe and Asia. I love the
How do
next
you like?
line. Before the last ice age, 12,000 years ago.
Oh, is that when the
I want
earthworms
to know
came
who's.
over?
I want to know how AI was programmed, but because it's just polling, like ChatGPT is just pulling from articles or information on the. But somebody substantively wrote this. before the last ice age, 12,000 years ago. Like, wow, you were there? You really know?
All right, we should probably wrap this up. But yes, let's go fishing soon, Chris.
If you had to figure out
Oh my
the
gosh.
most ideal hunting vehicle setup, what are you going with? This is how we'll end it. Because I got thousands of random fun ideas, and I thought
Most
about this.
ideal hunting
Like, are you going
vehicle?
Toyota? Are you going Ford? Are you doing like a pop camper on the back? Are you doing 18 wheeler and then you like pull up to the parking lot and then you're rolling out your side by side and that's going out? Like,
Hmm. Hmm. I'm going. I am going with Toyota Tundra. It's going to have a rack over the bed, but not a topper. And on top of that rack will be the pop up tent thing, right? So then you still have all your storage space in your bed. You can bring camp with you. I think that's got to be ideal. And then you can still have a cargo carrier on the back of the truck too, or a little mini trailer, whatever floats your boat. That
all
seems
right.
ideal to me. Or you could just go straight up like Mercedes camper van, um, just one of the giant ones with the off-road tires and
Those
four-wheel
are fun.
drive. Those are pretty
Those
cool.
are fun. The older I'm like, I know we got tents, man, but I'm getting close to
Throwing in the towel.
doing like the fifth wheel thing.
I got a pop-up camper.
No, we need more. We need bunk beds.
Let's just buy a school bus.
I
Can you
saw a new
imagine
V.
seeing it?
I saw a new VW minivan today.
Yeah, they look silly.
I
Uh,
love it. I love it. I
I'm
want
sure you
all the
do.
cars. I want all the cars that are being gonna come
Resurrected.
off the. I want them all resurrected. Like Chevy, get your crap together. Ford figured out the Mustang. Now they're veering away a little bit from the Mustang. I think they should go back more to like the '69 fastback. Like, please stop getting all super futuristic and give us some retro. Like, give us a retro version of the Mustang. But the Camaro, you guys, you screwed that thing over. Give us the 67, 68, 69 hideaway lights. It doesn't need to be stinking aerodynamic. What are you doing with it? Doesn't need to be a Corvette. It needs to be a Camaro.
Do you ever see the AI renderings that like
Yes, I
these
do. I know where you're going.
stupid fake like websites will post saying about the new 2026 GMC um pick a Yukon or pickup truck or whatever,
Mm-hmm.
and it's like a square body. And they're like going back to the old stylings of like the 70s and 80s and 90s. It's like,
Mm-hmm.
if only that were true. That no, they're never going to do that again. But um yeah, I always see those renderings. I'm like, this is so fake. It's so stupid.
I want to like share my screen because I'm like, here's a 68 Camaro, but it's like 2026 AI mocked up.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, I don't know. I want a big truck, 250, 350 or something like that. Diesel.
To me that's just so unnecessary, but I get it. I do
I
get it.
just want to I want to pull my trailer, have my side by side. I want a place that I can roll back to as home base.
Get a good night's
Pretty
sleep.
pretty much not sleep on the ground. Like I'm realizing it's 2025 and I'm 40 years old. And while I deeply appreciate being one with nature and sleeping on the ground, we've just been
40
in the
isn't
rain.
40.
We've been in the snow. We've been smoked out. There's been fire in our tents. It's like
40 isn't that old, Chris. I think you got a few more years of sleeping on the ground. When you're a little bit older, then we'll have the conversation. But I think while we still have the ability to get in deep and nasty, I think we got to stick with it for a little bit longer.
well,
All
I
right?
thought that was related to like relative to Alaska waiting for us. Like we're gonna be doing that whole thing. But
Well, eventually.
all right,
All
we
right.
can wrap up this.
We're wrapping it up. Thanks everyone for listening to our extemporaneous talking here. We will see you on the next one with an outlined episode. We will stay on topic,
Ooh, like the next
and
10 episodes will be outlined. And then
more
we'll
than
do
likely, yes. And
another
we're
random one.
hoping that we're going to start having some guests on here too. So stay tuned for that.
We're gonna have a wives episode. It's gonna be great.
And the wives episode that's upcoming as well. So stay tuned. Watch out for those things. And until then, subscribe, review, like, follow, comment, email, all the things. You know what to do. Thanks, guys.